Alrighty folks, want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. So I want to start out with, again, mentioning, if you haven't subscribed, stop now, head on over, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, get all the updates on future videos coming out. Second, gotta put the disclaimer out there again, this might be a little offensive to a lot of people that are out there coming up. Again, this is not meant to be offensive, but it is offensive because some people might take it that way. And these are important factors that need to be relayed. And this is really one of the key things that I think a lot of people aren't really pointing the finger at where it really needs to be. And that is the users are the ones, again, causing these issues. And people like me that are causing these kind of issues. And this has to do with social media. Again, this is kind of following up a little bit off of the other video that I did about posting all your personal information and how this has become a bigger problem, especially for the younger generation, because with all these new attacks out there, social engineering, they can find most of your information you have because you're sharing it all. And wanted to comment on basically influencers, people that post stuff on their reviews, other things on social media that you watch or I post or I watch and put online for people to see. And where this actually, how all this legal stuff has been going on this last year or so, with the businesses not being held responsible for a lot of content that's on there. A lot of that blame I put on the people who are actually posting that kind of videos and who are doing those type of things. I've mentioned TikTok. How pretty much that is not appropriate for businesses because of the content that's on there. There is a lot of, I can't even say there's a lot of good content because there's a lot of garbage or inappropriate other content and things on there that have a higher number of things that are pretty much inappropriate for workplaces and probably for most home situations than there is for the good content. So I understand why people are doing that. Is so you and others watch their videos, and the more people that watch their videos and comment on their videos, the more money they can make. So it's not even about posting good content. And that is one thing I'm trying to do, is post good content onto my YouTube. Educational, training, informative information. Not shaking my butt. I'm not out there just trying to shake my butt and flash and do all this weird stuff that they're doing so that people watch and they can make money. But I also want to point out some of the bad to this. If you research it, what has happened to some of these people. People have tracked them down and done stuff to them. And there's stories, horror stories, about what have happened to content creators who created this kind of content. So that is also the security side of this. Posting all your public information. Posting all of this stuff. Making sure you post the proper stuff. Appropriate stuff. Not to mention is when you get older and you go try to find a job because now you're not getting the $1 million that you're getting from when you're younger, everybody watching you on there, that's going to follow you. Your job's going to see that, all that stuff that's public. So I wanted to point some of these facts out on social media. Understanding that social media is not only private content. And that's one of the aspects that I'm still kind of learning, because now I have this YouTube channel where I have a YouTube channel content on a different channel other than my personal channel. So it's kind of interesting to think of all this social media that's out there as a marketing thing. It's to draw people in to see your videos and direct them where you need to direct them. To market, to advertise. I post once a week. Usually I try to remember. Sometimes I forget that the new video is available, and I post the link to the video. Of course, that's to drive people to my video. But again, that's also so people are aware that I'm out there. And again, it's what content I'm placing. That is kind of the importance to me, and that's why I brought up this video, is because they talk so much about inappropriate stuff that's on these sites and who's responsible. Ultimately, if there's something on there you don't like and you block and you report them, and everybody starts doing the same thing, maybe these will change some of these policies and procedures that these companies have. But again, this is your choice to go look at these sites. It's your choice to go look at that content. TikTok, I don't go on TikTok because I mentioned all the inappropriate content that's on there. Just the other day, I went to look something up. There was a TikTok link. Oh, let me see what he has posted on TikTok. And I go and I open that up, and all the other related videos are about people shaking their butt and dancing and jumping around. It has not anything to do with a business I was looking for. So if I'm looking at a business, why am I seeing people shaking butt being referenced to me? I'm looking at business content. So really, that's what brought me up to do this video, following the other video, is knowing and letting people know all of this stuff that's out there. And maybe choosing your right platform. One of the things that I thought was really kind of interesting that I see a lot with YouTube is people mention a response to anything on your YouTube channel is a positive. It can be someone hating you, it could be someone liking you, it could be anything, it could be something that makes completely no sense. As long as they responded to your channel and posted something on your channel, YouTube considers that as a positive marking, that someone reacted to something you did. And that was kind of an interesting concept to me, because really you don't want the negatives, you don't want all of this stuff. But then also, if someone posts something on there and somebody's following them, it tells all of their friends and stuff that they posted onto your site. I've posted a couple little things on some businesses, and some businesses have actually blocked my page. And I kind of laughed, because then people are calling me, hey, what happened to this information you sent me? Well, then I kind of thought, well, I should really do more on this, because people might not actually be thinking that through, because now I posted on there that anybody that sees my page will see that I posted something to your page and go on over to your page. And that gives them the channel of how to go, the link to how to get there, to know the path, to know where I was looking. Well, they blocked me. So anything that I've shared or sent to anybody, poof, got pulled off the internet. So how did that help your business? How did that help your marketing ploy? How did that help a lot of these things? So I really kind of thought that was an interesting kind of a concept that really when you got into some of this YouTube and TikTok and how a lot of these medias work, on a business side, it's kind of an interesting concept. So I didn't want to paint a nasty picture on social media. Don't use it, don't post this, don't post that, don't do this. But most people on social media understand a lot of these things already. But as for a business side, you want to do your research and understand how social media is different than on a personal side. And again, personal sides, you probably don't want to be posting everything you do to the public. You want to keep that private. You want to keep that within your friend group. You want to keep that secure. You don't want everybody in the world to be seeing that information. Business-wise, been finding this is a split category. You want to post a lot of stuff public because you want everybody to see it. But again, you want your select followers, your select people to only see select content. Restrict it. Because now those are the people who are actually following you, that are watching your videos and doing a lot of stuff that you want to share that content with. To me, that's kind of strange because I would think you'd want to share that with as many people if they're watching or not watching, because any content is good content to put out there. So this is one of those weird categories, and this is why it's a rabbit hole kind of a situation. Because you might be looking at doing this very precise thing, but you might need to expand a little over here, or do something over here, or do something over here. It's really an interesting subject, and it's something that I'm still kind of grappling with and trying to figure out how's the best way to market. All this fake news that you've heard of, all of this, what are these key phrases that they have out there now that they're trying to push, really is kind of an interesting subject, because now you put out, oh, the news put out this fake news, blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of interesting because it really doesn't matter what the story is. All this stuff going on with the former President Trump, all this type of stuff that's going on, it's kind of funny how there's very key subjects that they keep kind of bringing up. And I kind of think that's interesting, because what they're trying to do is drive you to their site to get their site traffic up, and they don't care if it's a positive or a negative. They're looking at trying to drive their site up. And a lot of these stories I've seen, there's no information there. They're very vague, very generic, and it's just to try to drive traffic to their site, is what it's looking like. So to me, that was kind of an interesting concept to think of. Man, they're just trying to drive traffic. They're trying to get people to go there. The news here. Oh, stay up to date by going to our Facebook page or going to our media news page, www.com. Okay? And you go to that, and there is no updated information ever. They advertise that. Stay up to date by going to this site. There is no updated information there. Basically, the little bit they tell you on the TV is the little bit that's there, and that's usually all there ever is. I know in some of the bigger towns and the bigger places, they might update those stories. They might give you updates. No, there's a couple other places that we can get some updated information, some Facebook pages and some other media people that do actually update the information. So, again, this is taking you back to Facebook for a positive. So I wanted to go through and break down a lot of that and explain a lot of that. Because social media does have a lot of negatives. And it seems like it's getting more and more negative. I made a video on email. Is it positive or is it negative? Emails have a lot of negatives. A lot of security concerns. A lot of stuff going on with email. It seems like social media is the newest negative to it, where there is a lot of negatives. There's a lot of things to be careful on. So I wanted to go through and point that out. The worst thing I find with social media is they get you trained into clicking. Go back and watch a lot of those security videos. This is probably going to be next year's quiz, because this is one of those things that I find really interesting, that, again, they're kind of engineering, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Using very specific tactics on training you to do a procedure or a technique or habit that is not very good for you and is not a safe and best practice. When you go on there, you watch a video, click here to watch the next video. And you do that, and you do that, and you do that, and you do that. This gets into the security stuff of, what if when you click that next video, it does not take you to a video site and it downloads something? Because you're used to just clicking. So I wanted to bring that up in a security subject. And these are the things that I said can be offensive to people, but it's kind of an important factor for people to actually realize. Because it's become such a socially approved habit of doing these things. And to know there is a security risk of doing these things. Because it's not really best practice. So, wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that. If you start researching security and all of that stuff with computer science and all of that type of stuff, you will find a lot of this stuff comes up over and over and over again. And it's going to be a bigger and bigger problem every year, because more and more people are getting into that type of stuff and different stuff. So I wanted to do a quick video. And again, this is not quick. None of my videos are really quick. But this was one of those things that I wanted to point out some of these factors and the content that's on some of these sites. There are parental guards, parental stuff. Even if you're an adult, you might want to start setting some of these things so that you don't have to see some of this inappropriate stuff come up. To me, it's kind of a bother, because really when I go on there to look for a very specific thing, I don't need to be seeing a lot of other stuff. I've been seeing it also in Facebook on their shorts. All the little TikTok things that people are doing that are inappropriate are now coming up in the shorts. Like, what? I don't want to see this. What? Why is Facebook even showing me this? Why are you referencing this? Why do I have to see this? Why? I don't want to see this. Nowhere in my history of Facebook am I looking at that kind of garbage. Why? Well, It's because you got all the views and everybody wants to go see it, and so they can make money and all of this stuff. Because now you get paid for your shorts. Your short video. So, these are some of those little things I wanted to bring up. And really, if you want to make social media better, and you want to make the content better, stop making the inappropriate content. That's all I can really say. So that goes back to the users and goes back to the influencers and the people who are creating that content. Just stop doing it. But of course they're not going to stop doing it because they're making a lot of money doing it. And I threw out this word out there a lot, influencers. Influencers are someone who posts something that's basically public, is the influencer. And a lot of people have a lot of different meanings for that word, but that's basically what it is. I can't influence you if my information is private. If it's created and put out as public, everybody who posts anything public I consider to be an influencer. Because you're putting your content out there, you're putting your opinion out there as public. So anybody can see it. So you can cause an opinion or a decision to be made by what you post or how you say it. So maybe me just putting out this video will stop people from posting all that stuff. Or go post it somewhere else where it's more appropriate to be. Somewhere where you want to leave all that on TikTok, leave it all on TikTok. It shouldn't be on all the different platforms and all the different stuff that's out there. But again, that's their choice. That's the company's choices. And then that's my choice to say, there's too much garbage on this platform. I'm not going to use it no more. And I'm going to go over here and use this platform. So this is another factor that's out there. If YouTube gets too full of that kind of content, let's create another one. A different media source where we can put content that doesn't contain that stuff. So these are some of those things that we can put out there. If you don't like the content on that certain public site, like the former ex-president, that they did not like what he had to say, how he had to say it, so they banned him. He went out and created his own platform. That's your choice to go over to his platform or not. But now his content is located over here and your content's over here. That's perfectly okay. You don't have to go to that site. So these are some of the things I wanted to bring up. But the problem is now you're getting all those platforms where everybody that's over here is jumping over here and jumping over here and jumping over here, and you're getting the same media across all these different platforms. There's nothing you can really do, but a lot of social media people who do videos and that type of stuff really are concerned about the video and the content they put out. And there's some that really don't. They just put out stuff because people are going to watch it and they're going to make money. And if you go on and do your research and you do your homework, there's videos out there that, oh yeah, you can just redo music and redo videos and redo stuff and repost stuff and people will follow and watch your videos. To me, if you're going to clone someone's content, you're going to do other things to try to build your own, to me that's not quality media. I don't watch that. I'll actually block that. Because that's not original creations. That's not original media. So I wanted to go through and point out some of these things because this is a rabbit hole subject And I can't really elaborate too much on it because it's really just too big of a subject. Too much legal, too much other stuff going on about there. But there are things to do, things not to do, things that I just wanted to point out warnings on. Because, again, for business-wise, you go on there and you post certain things and you do certain things. And to know if someone posts on your page a comment or whatever, good, bad, I hear a lot of back and forth. And it's kind of hard because, you know, I've been to a lot of places. You're not going to be happy everywhere. There's some people that complain no matter where they go. So you're going to have complaints. You can address those complaints. So that's also a good factor of having the social media, is you're aware of what the complaint is. You know what's wrong. You know how to try to remedy it. So having a complaint is not necessarily a bad thing on social media. I don't believe so. A lot of people get offended by it. Oh, you got a negative complaint, blah, 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 blah. I've had some on my videos where people, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And I just kind of giggle because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm the one that actually dealt with it, and this is how I dealt with it. That's what's posted. Your situation may be different. There's a lot of people that have posted on one of my videos. I haven't had that problem with my computer. I don't know how you did. And then 3 posts down, someone will say, yeah, I had that problem. It's very unique. It's very interesting when you get into the social media and you see the comments and this and that. And then you get people that want to bash other people because, oh yeah, I had that problem. Oh no, you couldn't have had that problem because I didn't have that problem. You get into all those weird things where you might want to set up some privacies and some monitoring to allow or not allow certain comments without screening because of your business and how you want to go. I've let negative comments go, but when it starts to get into a battle royale, whatever, I want to argue with this person, that stuff, that goes. Again, I'm the social media content provider. I don't want that on my page. So these are some of those little things that are out there. Some people are like, you know what? I don't care. It's a comment. And that's better for me to have as many comments as I want. And these are some of those factors you might have to research with your provider, your whoever you're posting with, to figure out, is that a good thing or a bad thing? To me, personally, I don't care if it's a good thing that a negative comment counts as positive. If it crosses a certain line, it's gone. And I kind of find that that boundary line has pretty much gone away. And I found certain places, if you make any kind of a negative, they wipe it. And it's kind of funny because when you go to stay there and you see a lot of negatives, and then you go look at their page and it's all just nice positive comments, and there's not even a halfway negative or a negative comment on there, you know that site is altered in a way that I don't trust that company after that. One of the things I used to say years ago, if your name's on a building and you're going to tell me you give me the best price for your product, if your name's on a building, I ain't trusting you to say you're giving me your best price on your product. If you're on a stadium or anything of that sort. Because how are you making millions of dollars to put your name on a building if you're giving me the best product? So these were some of those little things that I consider when I do my media. I'm not out plugging a certain brand. I'm not out plugging a certain subject. I've mentioned before, if there's a certain company that wants me to review something or look at something, I'll look at it. A lot of stuff I look at online, I don't need to have it physically here. Or I've used it other places. Video cards, motherboards, all those type of things I've bought used that I show on my videos. So these are some of these little factors I wanted to bring up with the social media and how I've noticed some of these things are out there. And that kind of follows up to the next scale of the last video that I've done. So that's why I kind of wanted to do this video, to follow up on business side, marketing side, all of those type of things. Because you might be running a small business, home business, other type of stuff, looking at doing marketing. To know, do a business page and keep it separate from your personal page is really the best practice now, especially due to the security side. Because now, if you have a business thing that only has business content and someone breaches that page, they don't get your personal information. People follow businesses, they follow personal. So once they follow the personal, they get all of your not fully shared information. So you want to keep all that separate as well. So this was kind of the aspect and the area that I wanted to point out, because I don't really hear anybody really talk about this. I'm sure there's people out there mentioning short little parts of this, but it was kind of interesting. Really interesting to understand the difference between the two. And these are still factors that I'm learning. Been doing YouTube for over 2 years, almost 3 years now. And understanding how to break all of this down. How many different medias, who gets where, and who sees what, and how you market it, and what. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. And all of these things are different. They're not the same. So I think I'll wrap this one up, because it has some rough content, and it's enough content. If you're interested in more of this subject, do your research, because again, depending on what platform you use, it's going to be different. And odds are you're going to be using multiple platforms. So then how do you integrate from one platform to the other and the other platform? What style? Do you want it all to be kind of similar? Will it even be able to be similar? Or what's going to happen? So let me wrap this one up, and I hope that explains a lot about the social media when it gets into a business side, and I think the appropriate way you should post, and the appropriate, and to understand there's a difference between inappropriate content and appropriate content, and who has the real control over it. These are things that in today's age, and probably the next 5 or 10 years, they're going to be disputing and fighting over to figure this all out. So again, thank you for watching. Head on over, hit the subscribe, and ultimately, who has the final say of what content you want to see is you. You can block it, you can not post it, not go to even that service. Just wanted to point these factors out. Thank you so much.